Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last 7 days, I've been driving the 2025 Lexus LX700h. Up front is a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6, as well as a hybrid system, and down below is a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video because this is a new trim level for the LX, and this is also a new version of the LX. For the first time, it has been hybridized. Is that a word? It's a hybrid now, or at least offered in a hybrid. So we're going to be talking about that system. The Overtrail is the off-road ready package as well, so there's a lot to dive into today in the Lexus LX. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that hybrid V6 twin turbo under the hood. Well, like I said, that is new. The 700H is a new offering for the LX series Lexus, and this is the same twin turbo hybrid system that we saw in the Toyota Tundra. It's wonderful. It really is a good system, albeit it's not really that quick or fast. You would think twin turbo V6 with a hybrid and a horsepower number like that this would be pretty fast. It's not, but you do get good torque, and honestly, the LX has never been fast, even when it was a V8 vehicle, so not really anything interesting there. Now, this is not a plug-in hybrid or anything like that. Everything happens underneath the hood. You don't have to worry about it. At slow speeds, it will kick into electric mode, which is very nice and helps you save fuel here and there. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. It's a 10-speed. It works good here. I haven't had a single complaint. There hasn't been a weird shift or anything like that, so consider me happy. Last but not least about the drivetrain, this is four-wheel drive, and the Overtrail gets some special goodies to go along with that. Not only do we get these massively chunkier tires, but this has a front-locking differential, a rear-locking differential, and a center-locking differential. It also has air suspension, so you can raise and lower the vehicle, which is not only super helpful, but really fun to play with. So, this definitely has the off-road 4x4 chops, because it does share a platform with the 300 series Land Cruiser that is sold around the rest of the world, not sold here. How does it feel to drive the Lexus LX700h? It drives wonderfully. It has a nice, comfy, and smooth ride. Even though it does have those off-road chops that we just mentioned, it rides like an old Cadillac. This has been such a smooth, comfortable cruising experience. The tires are a little bit louder than these standard tires would be, but that comes with the territory. It's so nice. Visibility is decent, although this is a pretty large vehicle, so you do have to keep that in mind. But visibility's been good, ride quality's been great, throttle's been good, just not the fastest thing in the world, and I can definitely live with that. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. As I've mentioned in prior reviews, I'm not the biggest fan of Toyota and Lexus's current gauge cluster setup. I do think that it's a little bit congested, a little bit clustered, and when I want certain information, it takes just that extra little second to find what I'm looking for, so I don't particularly love that. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our go back phone options and volume, and off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise control and skip track. We also do get paddle shifters around the back of the steering wheel, and it is leather wrapped, feels very nice in my hands. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, our camera view button, odometer and trip reset, gauge dimmer switch, tailgate release, and our rear outlet, as well as our trailer brake adjustments found all the way down below. Moving out of the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats up at the top, latch get in and out, this big grab handle, and then we have our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. These are kind of situated in an awkward place because you have to reach around the grab handle in order to access them. Don't particularly love that, but it's okay. Moving into the center, we get our infotainment display. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also pipes the sound through a Mark Levinson sound system, which has been fantastic. And we get to watch this awesome 360 camera that has been extremely helpful during my week with the LX700H absolutely love that. However, you gotta say the best thing found in the infotainment is the seat controls, which leads to the massaging seats. You get 5 different settings for your massage seats, as well as you can increase or decrease the intensity. So this has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, who doesn't like getting a massage while crawling over rough terrain? I personally do. Down below that, we get a secondary screen. So this is for additional information. We can leave it on the vehicle information page, and this will give us our brake and accelerator pressure, what drive mode we're in, and the car on the screen will even mimic the wheels turning, so you can tell if your wheels are turned or not. We can also cycle through the climate control screen found on here, and a little settings screen for brightness and contrast. Then we get physical climate controls down below. I really like that it does have physical climate controls. These have been very good, except for the fact that the sync button is not found in a physical form. You have to dig through one of the menus. It's not even up when you have the vehicle information up. You have to scroll up to the climate control, then you can find sync. This is a little bit annoying, but the rest of the climate controls are physical, so I won't complain too much. Then we have 3 buttons down below that for MTS, drive mode, and our crawl mode. So you select this and it will light up, and then whichever's lit up will be selected with the mode select off to the left. So kind of an interesting way of doing this. Audi did this in the 2010s with their climate controls, but we do have drive modes for custom, sport plus, sport, normal, comfort, and eco. So plenty to scroll through here. And we do have our 4-wheel drive settings off to the right. Coming onto the center console, we get 2 USB-Cs, a 12-volt outlet, heated and ventilated seats for the driver and passenger, as well as they have auto settings, so they'll just match the climate control. Heated steering wheel, parking assist, the shifter in the center, pretty standard shifter these days from Lexus. And off to the left, we have our power parking brake, auto holding brake, center locking diff, traction control, and our buttons to raise and lower the LX. Now, you'll notice that there is only a button for locking the center diff. Towards your right kneecap, this is where you actually can lock the front or rear diff individually. So kind of weird that they broke these buttons up, but that's where you find it. We do get a wireless phone charger in the center, which actually does charge my phone. Unlike most Toyota products, the Lexus products actually work. And off to the right, we do have cup holders. So we'll do a big freaking bottle test, and unfortunately, the bottle is just a hair too big to fit comfortably in the cup holder of the LX700. So unfortunately, yet somewhat predictably, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a center console, which doubles as a cool box, meaning this has a refrigerator built in, and this is very cool. Older Land Cruisers used to do this. The new Land Cruiser still does this, and I think that's my one selling point of the Land Cruiser over the new 4Runner, because the 4Runner does not get this option. But very, very cool to see. If you want to keep some water bottles chilled on your long drive, you can absolutely do that. However, no meat or fish. So if you're trying to start a hibachi grill on the side of the road, this won't help you at all. However, moving on to the seats, like I said, they're heated, ventilated, power memory, and massaging everything you can ask for from a modern luxury seat. This seat will do, and I have to say the butt massage, quite aggressive, and I don't hate it. So very, very nice to see that. However, speaking of seats, we do have one more row of seating, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2025 Lexus LX700h, and a couple of things to note. First of all, there's not that much room back here. This is my driving position, and my knees are hitting the seat quite a bit. Could I be nice and move up? Of course, but if I'm gonna be comfortable driving, this ain't really that great. I do have heated and ventilated seats back here. We do have our own climate controls and fan speed, 2 USB-Cs as well, and we do get a center console with some pop open cup holders found here in the center. We do get LED lighting, of course, actually 3 LEDs per side, which is a little bit of overkill, but that's kind of the whole point of this SUV. Honestly, I don't love it back here. I'm not super stoked. I'm not super happy with it. I do get window shades, which is a nice touch, but that's kind of it. This is a little bit of a downside. I felt like I had more, or if not the same amount of room in the new Land Cruiser. And that's a smaller, more affordable vehicle. It's, in some cases, half the price of this. So, something to note. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the big old Lexus LX700h, we do have a button in there, and of course, a power-operated tailgate. It'd be an absolute sin, although that beeping was a little bit too much. It'd be a sin if it didn't have a power tailgate. Once we are back here, obviously, we get this giant privacy cover. We can reel that back in, and you get tons and tons of space. Now, interestingly enough, there are cup holders up over here. I assume in other markets there is a third row, or maybe in the future there's going to be a third row option, but cup holders in the back, that's kind of funny. We do get a wall outlet over here, of course. However, we can't pick up the bottom down here, although we do get a spare tire, which is very nice to see at the bottom. Coming up here, we can close it or close it and lock it, which is very nice. Again with the beeping. Not necessary. That's a bit much. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And first of all, this is finished in nori green. I think this is one of the best colors coming out of Lexus at the moment. Besides copper crest, here is the Lexus LC500 in copper crest. Absolutely love that color, but I don't think that color would suit this giant SUV all that well. I think it would look like a big neon sign at that point. Nori green is subtle enough, but interesting enough that I absolutely love it. I think it's a smashing color, and I'm so happy to see Lexus moving forward with it. It's not gray, silver, or black, so I will take what I can get. I do think the grille at the front is very large. However, I've just learned to live with it. I don't think it's the most visually stunning SUV I've ever seen, but it's functional, and so let's get on to my final thoughts that incorporate that. What do I think, having driven the LX700h for the last 7 days? Well, I like this quite a bit. I love this LX700. Here's the thing. Being a car reviewer, I review 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars a week. I'm always driving something different. And so in my free time, the little droplets of free time in which I might have, I don't usually go for a drive anymore. As an auto enthusiast, I used to go on a drive for fun, but now since it's my daily job, it's not really how I seek joy. Having this LX the last week, I have found reasons to just go drive it for no benefit other than just to have fun, just to drive it. I was trying to think of reasons and places I could go just to be behind the wheel of this. And there's several reasons for that. First of all, of course, it does have the luxury options. Obviously, driving to Walmart is a little bit better when I'm getting a back and butt massage. The Mark Levinson sound system is a huge draw. I turn up the tunes, I shake my eardrums, and that's what I love to do. Again, while getting a massage. It rides nice. I like the twin turbo V6, although it might not bring tears to my eyes when I put my foot down to the metal, but that's okay. It doesn't have to. It's a good, solid system. It rides incredibly nice. The overall feeling you get floating through the air is fantastic. And it's just a nice place to be. That's one of the big benefits of Lexus products. They feel like an upscale hotel. It's not one thing that sets this apart. If it had great off-road ability, I would say, yeah, it's a good car. If this had comfort, I'd say, yeah, it's a good car. If this had good tech, I'd say, yeah, it's a good car. But it has all of those. It does everything so wonderfully together, and it offers something that can be smooth, comfortable, and quiet, but also aggressive and can tackle a trail. It can also do this. It can also do that. It's a Swiss Army knife, but a giant, giant SUV of one. That's what makes this so good. And so, yes, that price tag at $116,000 is a huge pill to swallow. I won't discount that. That is a lot of money, and I don't know if I'll ever be in the position to spend that on a vehicle. But if I was, this would be very high on my list. The only thing right now that I think would take its place would be the other Lexus product I love more dearly, the Lexus LC500. But that's for me and my passenger princess. If I had a family, if I had any hope of driving any friend to any location, this would have to be the pick. And what a wonderful, wonderful pick it is. This is just so good. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I hope you guys loved the video. Huge thank you to Lexus for letting me borrow their LX700h for the last 7 days. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle, and of course the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.